Hi, it's Derek from ForeGolf Custom, and today we're talking about TaylorMade Sim, Max, Fairway and Rescue. I have some information. We're going to reveal why tour players are using this high handicappers club to great effect out on tour and why you should be considering it. And also, we're going to talk about shafts and how they're regulating the flight with the right shaft, so keep watching. Dave, let's talk about the word rescue first of all. So I get these emails, and you've seen them as well, saying, what's the difference between hybrid and rescue? So explain to everyone at home, what's the difference?
So I think Rescue is TaylorMade's clever marketing of describing a golf club that helps you in places. So the term rescue and hybrid are really two of the same word or two of the same description. The hybrid being the traditional way of it being a blending product between an iron and a fairway wood. And then TaylorMade coined the word rescue as in maximum forgiveness, maximum help, get you out of all sorts of problems.
An emergency word.
An emergency club.
Brilliant. So on the basis that we're seeing quite a decent blending of, I guess, older design but in current technology.
Yeah.
Where does this club, the hybrid, for the rescue and the 3-wood, where is it fitting into your fitting schedule?
So we just need to work out where the longest iron's going to sit in the bag and then where the driver's going to sit in terms of distance. And then you'll use combinations of or fairways and hybrids to just balance out the distance gaps throughout the golf bag. If you're not very good iron player where you're more of a wood swing, then you bring the hybrids in. In the hybrid you can go all the way down to a 7-iron or 7-iron equivalent in hybrid. So you've got loads of options there. And then hybrids are a relatively new thing in the grand scheme of things, and they're just people that are just woods players.
Is this a speed story though? Are you using this for speed or are you using it for forgiveness? Is it a blend of both? What's the fitting profile here?
Again, you would tend to use a hybrid rescue club for somebody who maybe struggles to get speed out of a long iron to get it to fly and get it to go. So there's an element of speed in it, certainly, because it's hot off the face, but it's more helping you in areas where you would struggle. And if there's a long iron in the golf bag and you don't hit it, you put a hybrid in and then suddenly think everything becomes easier to do, so you keep it. Let's
break this down for people at home or that are watching. And if you're new to the channel, hello, you're very welcome. This is fitting information, so not deep tech or deep dive into this product. It's more about what we're seeing from golfers that come to see us and maybe how you might take snippets of our information and use it for yourself to get the best clubs. Let's maybe split this up then. So give me the fairway wood profile. What does that player look like that comes and ends up buying Sim Max fairway wood?
So you're either a woods player or you're not. And if you've traditionally had lots of fairwoods over the year, again, we haven't had hybrids too long, so people have grown up with fairway woods in the golf bag. If you're good with a long iron and you're good with a fairway wood because you've always had them, then the hybrid doesn't really make sense as to where it fits into the golf bag. The hybrid really comes in is getting rid of irons that have traditionally been more difficult to hit. The 3 irons, the 4 irons, even 5 irons. You can, as I said, you can go down to 7-iron if you need to. So these replace traditional clubs that are difficult to hit with something that is easy and powerful and makes your life easier.
That's a great point. So you could be a 3-5-7 wood player. It's a golden nugget again from Dave here. If hybrids don't make sense to you, i.e. if you try them and they don't hit, don't panic. Just because other people are using them to great effect and other people are using them and having them in their golf bag, it doesn't mean that it's for every golfer. Again, custom fitting, it's something that we talk a lot about because obviously we're here amongst it. But get fitted for these. They don't work for everybody, and if it doesn't make sense, like Dave says, doesn't get it in the bag. So if that's the profile for woods, give us the quick snippet then on hybrids. Who are the rescue people out there?
Think of it as an iron replacement and think of the numbers as being iron replacement. So if you get to the stage in your golf bag where you're thinking, geez, I can just about hit 5 and then when I get to 4, there's no real point to it. And then all I have is a 3 woods, then I've got a big gap in the golf bag. Then bringing in a hybrid replaces difficult things. It's also a good way of merging things together. So you wouldn't necessarily have a 3-iron, a 3 hybrid and a 5 wood because they're technically 3 things trying to do the same thing.
Gotcha. So
these also then provide a lovely blending situation where it allows you to fit more wedges at the bottom end. So you can take one of these, make it multi-purpose or rescue or hybrid being a multiple of jobs, fairway, tee, rough. It'll work in all those places. So it's multi-use, makes it versatile for everybody.
So break this down. So if Max or Rescue is the emergency type club, How is the world number one, Rory McIlroy, putting this into the bag and playing it quite often, as are quite a few tour players we've seen using higher handicappers or these sort of, easy to hit products.
Yeah.
Why are they ending up in the bag of tour players if they're designed for higher handicappers?
For the same reason that high handicappers will put them in the bag. They're looking for ease of use and forgiveness. You have to remember golf courses, even at a pro level, are getting longer, and their off-centre hits, which are few and far between, but they still will exist. They're now putting bunkers and lakes and very strategic placements of hazards to try and catch them out. So anything that makes the shot easy to hit or more forgiving, at the end of the day, it's about making a paycheck. So anything that helps that extra couple of shots at the end of the week is good for a tour pro as it is for an amateur golfer.
On that basis, I have two questions. The first one for you. I see he puts in 5-wood and hybrid and takes hybrid or rescue out and puts in 3-iron every now and again.
Yeah.
Is that to do with the gapping or the blending?
A 3 hybrid is quite a strong flighted product, where a 5-wood for the same loft is a higher launching product. So I think you either have one or the other, and they go in per the week. I don't think you'll ever see the up where you'll have 3-wood, 5-wood, and 3 hybrids, because there's never really going to be that opportunity to use it. So, as I said earlier, the 3 hybrid, the 5-wood, and the 3-iron tend to be 3 of the same thing, and then it'll go into the bag depending on where he wants to use it.
Gotcha. So Rory's using it for different types of
different types of flight. Are the bunkers at the front edge of greens?
I saw another tour player that's playing the hybrid. He changes the shaft in the same head to change the loft or flight. Is that why Rory has that hazardous smoke in the hybrid?
I think that he's trying to provide, through the shaft, control to what is an incredibly quick and powerful product. So he's trying to regulate how far it goes, because he doesn't want it backing up onto the fairway wood, and then he doesn't want to get back to his next iron in the golf bag. So
he's gone performance in the shaft and forgiveness in the head.
So the weight and the strength is providing him with a control mechanism to make sure it goes a specific distance.
Now, is that something that amateur golfers should look at, or what sort of shafts should we be looking at in these hybrids for I guess, average golfers and not world number one?
I think at an amateur level, you're more matching the golf club shaft with speed. So if your speed's slow, and there's a speed story from the face, shaft tends to be light, middle speed, middle shaft weights, quick speed, heavy shaft weights. So you're matching more the weight of the shaft to the speed of the player. Is
that 60 gram, 55 gram down in the iron, like an iron shaft in the hybrid, or is it? And I've seen you put 95 and 80 grams in.
Yeah, so what I mean, hybrid shafts are technically iron shafts for the connection system. So you may be as light as 60 in terms of the graphite, but you can get up to 100. Rory has 105. Now that would be the extreme mark of it, but quite commonly hybrid shafts around the 85 gram mark.
Perfect. And then just so that we're clear, and people are sitting at home or sitting on their phones watching this, what's the average yardage that you could sense to see from, say, a hybrid, this Max 3? Where would you sort of be putting it in people's bags so that they can work out the gaps?
I think this becomes quite an easy question. It's your 200-yard club, essentially. The fairwood's going to get you 220 and the driver's going to get you 240 if you're an average club golfer. And then the 4-iron will come in at kind of that 180 mark, and then you've just got 20 gaps covered all the way up to driver.
So let's talk a little bit about the tech in this Sim Max Fairway and Rescue Club. Essentially, the main component here is the V-steel sole. It's basically a big piece of weight that's at the bottom of the club that pulls the center of gravity real low, makes it easier to hit off the ground. In conjunction with the carbon crown and the slots at the back, keeps all the weight very focused low down, so it's very easy to get the ball in the air. The other tech then is the twist face. Basically, they've extended the way that the face kind of curves, and this helps a lot with off-center hits in terms of reverse gearing. So basically, if you hit it off-center, it's got to try and keep that online and keep it as straight as possible. The last bit of tech then to be noted about is the speed pocket. This is a channel that's cut in the bottom of the club that makes the face flex as much as possible, again, to keep the speeds nice and high. The tech that's in these two clubs actually is the same as in the driver. We've reviewed that already. I'll pop a link to the driver video up here. You can take a look at that as well. And if you have any questions about these kind of clubs or how they fit in or anything you want to ask us, why don't you stick it in the comments below. Until then, I'll see you at the next video. Thanks a lot for watching.